Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. Yesterday, I started talking about my experience at a residential treatment center and what that was like, and I'm going to continue that today. One of the things that was important to me was that I go to a treatment center focused as much as possible on treatment of substance abuse disorder rather than providing comfort during the transition to sobriety. And what I mean by that is I was less interested in a treatment center that offered extras like massages at the end of the day or private rooms than I was a treatment center that really had a robust program that was designed to provide me with all the tools I would need to go back out into the real world once treatment was over. I'm very fortunate that I found a treatment center that provided me with those kinds of tools and was really focused on that level of rehabilitation for people who were suffering from substance use disorder. And so at my treatment center, one of the things that became clear to me is that it was important that I feel comfortable and feel safe at the treatment center. And I do feel like that's an important aspect of it. But it was also important that I be given opportunities and encouraged to step outside of my comfort zone at the treatment center. And I think that's very important too. If you go to residential treatment and you're not forced to push against and then step outside your comfort zone, that's not preparing you well for what life is going to be like when you go back and try to live a life in recovery outside of the treatment center. One of the ways that they did this, I talked some yesterday about what the days looked like. But in the evenings, every single night, we were taken out to go to a local recovery meeting. Whether it was an AA meeting or another 12-step meeting or a SMART recovery meeting. We went to refuge recovery meetings. And this was a big step outside of my comfort zone because I am the kind of person, especially in my addiction, that I did not like to. I liked to be done with my work for the day and come home and just sit and not and relax and of course get high and drunk. I did not like going back out. I did not like having on my mind that, I can't relax because I've got something to do later. I didn't like that at all. And I did not like the aspect of having to go out every single night to do a meeting. And what this taught me, multiple important things. One, it taught me that in my sobriety and in recovery, doing that actually isn't that big of a deal because when you're not drunk or high, you don't have as many problems going out and doing things spontaneously. You don't have to worry about, driving while intoxicated, getting pulled over by the police, things like that. So there's far less mental fear of doing those kinds of things at the end of the day. And I found out that was a lot of what I had. I was concerned about going and doing things at the end of the day, leaving my house at the end of the day, because it either meant I would have to stay sober longer, or I would have to risk being pulled over and driving while intoxicated. So in recovery, it's much easier for me to get out and do things at the end of the day. But it also taught me the importance of daily care for my sobriety and my recovery. It taught me the importance of seeking out different meetings. And I'm very fortunate that I live in a city that's really, really got a robust recovery community. And I can go to, there's so many meetings a day, it's ridiculous. And so I can go to lots of different types of meetings. I can go to, if I want to go to just AA meetings, there's even probably dozens, if not several hundred AA meetings within the city limits that I can choose from. And so it taught me just how deep the recovery community goes in my own city. And then it also taught me the importance of making sure that I keep my mind open to different ways of exploring recovery. So there were all these really important reasons that we went and we did this every night. And we went and we did this work every night. There was a lot of really good stuff that came from that. And I don't go to a meeting every day at this point in my recovery. I don't go to as many meetings as I should, and I would like to get back into that. But what was really important coming out of residential treatment was I had those resources available. So at the beginning, I knew where to go at any given moment. And when I left residential treatment, I had a calendar that I had written out all of the different meetings I could attend every single day. And on each day, I usually had at least 2 or 3 meetings that I could attend. And that was really important for me to have that planned out. So that was just one of the many tools that I was given from the treatment center I attended. And I wanted to point out that, the going to a residential treatment center, it was, especially in hindsight, very important that my comfort zone be tested, that I be pushed to do things that were outside of what I wanted to do, and that were more in line with what I needed to do in order to take the right first steps for recovery. So if you are looking for a treatment center that will allow you to relax and to kind of float into the beginning of sobriety and recovery and a life of recovery, that I would encourage you to consider that might not be what you need. The beginning of recovery is often very messy, very uncomfortable, and if it's not, sometimes you need someone to push you into the uncomfortable places so that you can confront those in a safe place, in a controlled environment, so that when you leave that environment, you have the tools you need to confront them in the actual world around you. So that's it for today. I'll come back tomorrow and talk a little bit about what my aftercare looked like after residential treatment, because that was the other component of residential treatment was, what am I going to do after? And if I had not gone into some kind of aftercare in terms of an outpatient program, I would have encountered some significant problems as I re-entered the real world in terms of being a new person in recovery. So more on that tomorrow. In the meantime, have a good day.